Hello, everyone. My name is Tooways Asmal. Welcome to another episode of Tooways Skin a Cat, a show where we talk career experiences, entrepreneurship, and investments. The main aim is to show that there's more than one way to be successful other than just climbing the corporate ladder. We are live on LinkedIn and YouTube, and the show should be available on podcast by tomorrow morning. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on that notification bell to get automatically notified when the next episode comes out. If you're joining me live, drop a 1 in the comments so that I know I'm not talking to myself, and drop a 2 in the comments if you're watching the recording. So this week is blockchain week. We've got a double header. And today I will be discussing how and why I got involved in cryptocurrencies and NFTs, what I've lost, what I've gained, and what I've learned. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor and I'm not an expert in the field. I'm merely sharing my experience of the industry, and so that maybe you can have some, or you can have some of my learnings and you don't make the same mistakes that I did, potentially. So let's start with how I got involved in cryptocurrencies, because I think understanding that background is important, because it might give you some clarity as to some of the decisions that I might have made. So it was probably around May. Well, last year I fell into the cryptocurrency space by accident. Before that, I experienced the same things that you experienced, being spammed by crypto accounts, asking you to give them your money. It felt sleazy. This is one of the reasons why I didn't want to talk about it for a long time. I didn't want to be painted with that same brush. To this day, I still get some of those sleazy messages, and I continue to not respond to them, or I continue to block them. But anyways, let's go back to how I fell into this by accident. So if you've been following my content for a while, you might have noticed the odd quote from Gary Vaynerchuk. Some people call him Gary V. He's all over Instagram, he's on LinkedIn, he's on TikTok. I think he's on Facebook, I don't know. But his content game is immense. I started consuming his content at the beginning of 2019, and I've been following his advice and his tips. And one of the reasons why I've been able to create such a brand for myself on LinkedIn is because I tried to implement some of the things that he talked about. He talks a lot about mindset and business and content. So I definitely recommend consuming his content. I listen to him mainly on podcasts, but however you like to consume, you consume his content, go for it. So anyways, in March 2021, he started talking about NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. And non-fungible tokens basically means that you can't replace one token with another. Each token is different and has its own characteristics. So cryptocurrency is fungible. One Bitcoin and another Bitcoin is the same thing. Whereas a non-fungible token, one Bored Ape is different to another Bored Ape, or one CryptoPunk is different to another CryptoPunk, because they've got all these different characteristics. They look different, etc., etc. So hence non-fungible tokens. So in May 2021, so in March 2021, he started talking about it. And then in May 2021, he launched his own NFT. And like most of you, I was probably very skeptical at first. And as an accountant and a former auditor, sometimes you get red flags start going off in your mind. So I didn't jump head first. But what I found out, well, the one thing that came with the NFT was that it provided access to his annual conference for 3 years. So if you bought this NFT, it was like a ticket to the conference. You get access to the conference for 3 years. So that is what sold it for me, because I was a bit skeptical about the value of this NFT thing on its own, but I could see the value of an access to a conference. It's like, for me, I was like, well, it's the same cost as paying for the conference ticket. So I see value because I'm going to get access to the conference ticket. The other reason why I decided to buy in was that I gained so much value from him over the previous 2 years, and I was never really able to thank him or give him value in return. So supporting him in this project was my way of thanking him. On a side note, that kind of shows the power of brand and adding value to others, because I wanted to thank him for the value that he added. So based on that, I decided I was going to purchase this NFT. But the only way that you could pay for the NFT was using Ether or Ethereum. Ether is the currency on the Ethereum blockchain. So I was forced to learn how to buy Ethereum or how to buy Ether and how to set up a wallet, because I had no idea how to do all of it, because I wasn't involved in this at all. So this all happened in May 2021. And around the same time, I was hosting weekly investing discussions on Clubhouse. And in one of the sessions, we invited a cryptocurrency expert to speak. So I learned a little bit more there. We also invited an audit partner who focuses on digital assets and crypto. So he spoke at the Clubhouse event about this. I'm also interviewing him on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday on the channel. So look out for that one. Anyways, this all happened between March to May 2021. I bought the NFT, but I wasn't really in it for the cryptocurrency or the NFT sake. So I never really paid attention again until around September 2021. I remember in June or July, for some reason, I noticed that the Ethereum price had more than halved since I used it to buy this NFT. But I was busy with other things. I had renovations that I was busy with at home. So I didn't really have any extra cash. And I wasn't really fully convinced. So because of that, I missed a large part of the bull run. But these things happen. Another thing that came up in July 2021 was the looting in KwaZulu-Natal. Now, I've got a few family members there in KZN, so I heard a lot of the stories. Okay, I didn't experience it directly, but this made me think. Like a lot of my job is in South Africa, the majority of my investments are South African based, and I almost felt okay, there's a need to have some assets either overseas or that can be moved overseas. Just thinking about that. Since then, I've been learning and investing in cryptocurrencies and NFTs. So I started learning about staking, about passive income, about decentralized finance, DeFi, how to take out loans using crypto as a collateral. I started learning about all these things and testing these things out. And the industry has a language of its own, but that's not different to any other industry. Like if you join the investment or the property industry, they also got a language of their own. And how did I learn? Just from those discussions on Clubhouse, YouTube. So I follow quite a few YouTubers. I know on Twitter, podcasts, and reading up online. Now, I'm not here to convince you whether it's a good idea or not. You must do your own research. If you don't believe in it or you don't feel comfortable, stay away. And just for the audience, I will be responding to questions towards the end. So please add your questions to the comment section now so that I don't miss them. But the two messages that keep coming up for me every time I watch something online about the industry is that they all say you must do your own research before investing, and anything, and should only invest with money that you are willing to lose, because it's yeah. So I kind of try and follow that. But let's take a little bit of a step back for those who don't know what a cryptocurrency is. So just as a high level. The cryptocurrency is a digital asset or a digital currency designed to work as a medium of exchange, but using a computer network, and it doesn't rely on a central authority, like a government is a central authority, or a bank is a central authority. All ownership records are stored in a digital ledger. So how, you might ask, like, how is it different to rands or dollars? So if you, a quick history lesson is like up until the 1970s, rands or dollars used to be backed by gold reserves. And that's something that, so every rand or dollar was backed by a certain value of gold. And that was a bit of a surprise to me that I found out that actually it's no longer backed by gold. So rands or dollars have value because the government says it has value. And we have agreed that it's a medium of exchange, but there's nothing physically backing it. So like, I didn't realize that I wasn't the way. I just assumed there was always something backing it. But hey, shock to me, but I learned. So currencies like rands and dollars that are not backed by gold or by any sort of commodity are called fiat currencies. So fiat currency is just basically government currency, not backed by silver or any other commodity. And I can move on for that because that's a long story, but we can talk about that later. But basically, the more stable the government and the more in demand the currency, the more worth it has, similar to the US dollar. But like the more unstable the government, or the more volatile like the currencies. If you think Zimbabwe, Turkey, Venezuela, those currencies fluctuate quite significantly, or the inflation rates are crazy. Anyways, so the other thing that I thought was quite interesting, or that I quite enjoy, is that if you look at if you invest in the stock market, normal financial markets trade from 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 p.m. on weekdays, and they close on weekends and public holidays. Whereas the cryptocurrency and NFT market never closes. It trades 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So that's quite cool. I mean, I don't know if it's quite cool, but it's interesting. You can buy things on the weekend, you can trade on the weekend. And I really enjoyed that you can send value across the world that and can transfer within minutes at reasonably low fees. You can also buy cryptocurrencies that are pegged to like the rand or the dollar. So this is almost like buying dollars without getting banking approvals, but there's rules behind it. So that's not there's a bit of a gray area. So you need to check your legislation before you start buying dollars and things like that. But the fact that you can move money across the world, I found that quite interesting. So you might ask, what are my concerns? Because I do have concerns. And one of the concerns that keep coming up for me is the value. It's how to establish the value of a cryptocurrency. Because yes, you have the price on the market, similar to shares on a stock exchange. But the shares in a company can normally be valued in terms of, say, like a discounted cash flow or these other valuation techniques. And I haven't figured out what that other valuation technique is for cryptocurrency, or not one that makes me feel 100% comfortable. So I can't tell you what that intrinsic value is. And it doesn't help that the price moves like this. So I'm not skeptical or optimistic. I'm merely just sharing my concerns because these are things that we're figuring out. I've also relearned that I'm not a trader. So my main problem is not buying. My main problem is knowing when to sell. I'm not good at timing the market. I prefer investing for the long term and maybe earning consistent income or reinvesting that income or using it. I also noticed that like the industry has a lot of people looking for get rich quick schemes. And I'm a long-term investor in general, so I'm not in it for the quick profit. I'm happy to play the long game. I also I wouldn't recommend putting all your investments in cryptocurrencies. Like I own shares in companies, investments in other. I've spoken about this on the channel already. Real estate. I've talked about venture capital. I've talked about impact farming. So I try to. You have to spread out. I mean, diversify well. Having all your money in cryptocurrency sounds like a very risky strategy, but some people do it. Since that first NFT that I bought, I have bought a few since. Interestingly, the first conference was held. So Gary, we held his first conference. I got a virtual ticket, and I could sell the ticket. I sold the ticket for more than I bought the initial investment, which was quite cool. But I have bought other NFTs since. But the ones that I have bought have been ones that have like real life utility. So not just a JPEG picture that people use for bragging rights. I can understand why I do it. It's just not for me. That being said, would I have been happy if I had bought a JPEG picture that 10x in 1 year? Probably not. I'm not going to lie. I missed out on that. But I'm only willing to put my money into something that I can see, like, okay, there's some sort of real world value here. But again, so let's go back to the topic. And one of the things that I said I'm going to cover is, what did I lose? So I started investing during a global economic bull market. Well, investing in the crypto market during a global economic bull market. And now it's a global economic bear market. And because cryptocurrencies are the most volatile, I've probably lost half of my initial investment. So yes, it's painful. But for me, I think the only way I can learn is I want to go through the whole cycle. So the whole bull cycle, bear cycle, and then I can decide whether this is a good investment for me or not. And that's how I learned, because like I said, I'm a long-term investor. What did I gain? So not much financially, clearly. I've lost money. But the learnings is what I've gained the most. What did I learn? So this is the part that excites me the most. So falling into this industry by mistake has made me more aware of global economic impacts. I pay more attention to when you start using dollars in your dollar-backed things in your day-to-day life, you start paying more attention to the rand dollar exchange. I never paid that much attention to the rand dollar exchange before. So it actually made me better at my job, because I was more attuned to the global economy, and I can help my clients better. I'm also more aware of what's happening. Like I paid attention, but because it's like, okay, it affects you directly. Like, okay, I need to understand what's going on in the global economy. I need to understand what's going on with the US Federal Reserve. I need to understand what's tanking the market here or what's pushing the market up, so you can try and understand these things. And so I've learned quite a bit, and that's something that was very, very interesting to me. Because I fell into cryptocurrency, I'm watching more business content. I'm learning more about venture capital and startups. But I've always had a passion for investing. So my passion to learn more about investing has increased tenfold. And that to me is mostly what I've learned. But let's go through questions and see if there's anything coming through from the audience. So we've got a few people. Brent, I'm not gonna. How do you account for crypto in terms of IFRS? I'll leave that for the experts. This is more explaining my experience of the investing side. I'm sure there's ways, there's people that focus on it specifically. So I'm not going to give you an answer. I don't know that answer specifically. Whether it depends whether I'm assuming it's a financial instrument, but who knows? My IFRS knowledge is not as fresh as some of you. So some of you are probably going to have the right answer with you. And let's just see. Okay. Leslie's a bit late, but don't worry, Leslie. And is it speculating? Maybe some of it might be, and some of it isn't. To me, it almost comes to a point where it's like, do you believe in it or not? And it sounds strange and it sounds weird, but it depends. If you buy like altcoins that don't have much backing it, then yes, there's a lot. Then it sounds a little bit, feels a little bit like gambling. So I don't mess around with like low liquidity, low market cap, small alternative coins. I'm investing in the bigger ones that that have a lot of liquidity. That there seems to be a real world use case. Again, I'm not investing money that I can't afford to lose. I'm here to learn. Losing money is painful, but I'm learning a lot. And I'm gaining and building my knowledge. It's also like my enjoyment of investing and learning about other things that started. So now I'm starting to do more research about venture capital, and I'm starting to do more research about startups again, because I got so busy at work for the last few years. But now it's like, okay, it's almost like started a fire. Like, okay, I need to learn more about other stuff, and it's almost like a means to an end. What is the best platform for South Africans to purchase crypto? I don't know what the best platform is. I know there's different platforms like Luna and Bella and all those things. I haven't tried all of them, so I can't tell you which one is the best one. I've used altcoin Trader and Binance, and I used to use Ozo to get money onto altcoin Trader and then transfer to Binance. But I see that Binance also now has a direct deposit onto directly, but only for the main big four banks. So I haven't tried that one out yet, but I can't tell you which one is the best platform. I've just found out which one works for me. I like using Ozo to get the money quickly, because you can see that the money, it happens in a few minutes. It's not like, okay, you deposit it now and then tomorrow or the next day you wait for it. So if you use something like Ozo to get your money across, I like that. I mean, speed is a thing, and the market can move. So if you invest now and the money only comes tomorrow, you might have missed the move. Just there's a fee. I think it's like 1.4% or something. So again, it just depends. If you want instant, you pay for instant. I don't know. I don't think there's any more questions coming through. So, as a final message, I'm not telling you to invest in cryptocurrencies and NFTs. All I'm conveying is that there's this other industry out there that you might not know about. And the only way to make an informed decision on whether to invest or not is to learn about it. Don't take someone else's opinion, learn, and then decide if it's worth it for you or not. I've also been interested in investing in general for many years. So I enjoy learning about new investment vehicles and new investment opportunities. And if it's not something that you are interested in, it might not be worth your time. But yeah. Leslie's got a question. It says, how easy is it to convert cryptocurrency to traditional cash that is acceptable to almost everyone? So I'm assuming you sell it on exchange for rands, and then you transfer that rands to your bank account. It normally comes the next day or the day after that. And Brent's got a question. Ask him. That's a good question. Definitely ask him on Wednesday. Let's see what he has to say. Let's see. We've got another question from Soraya. She says, like you, I'm just touching the surface. Just started investing a very few small amounts. So learning. Tim Kramer's Investing Club, daily meetings useful. I don't know about it, so feel free to have a look. There's something that you can have a look out for. I quite enjoy on YouTube. I listen to crypto banter, but they talk a lot about altcoins, so can get a bit risky. So, but it's just good to learn because they talk about the economy. I quite enjoy the All In podcast, but that's not crypto. That's for venture capitalists who talk about the economy every week. It comes out on a Friday or Saturday. It's called the All In podcast. It's also on Spotify, and I also listen to This Week in Startups, which I quite enjoy on a daily basis, just to learn more about the economy. Because I've listened to all these podcasts, I don't really have time to listen to Gary Vee much anymore, but I try and slip it in every now and then. But yes, the show has been live on YouTube and should be available on podcast by tomorrow. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast and you feel that it's added value, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on that notification bell so that you get automatically notified when the next episode comes out. Thank you very much for joining me for another episode of Tooways to Skin a Cat. Goodbye.